Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finally started watching the Doctor Who series, the revival series from 2005. I had put it off because I felt like I had to watch the original shows before I watched the new shows, but getting a hand on those is really difficult because a lot of the episodes don't exist anymore, and ABC doesn't have the rights anymore, so I can't just watch them on ABC like I used to be able to and took for granted for many years. But eventually I just watched a bunch of episodes of the older series, sort of a couple from each Doctor, just to get a sense of the original series, and then I've moved on so I can finally watch the new show, because I've had like 13 seasons of the show on DVD just sitting there waiting to watch, and I just have never gotten around to it. So I watched the first season. I can understand why they did some of the things they did. They needed to bring in a new Doctor Who. They needed to change the image of Doctor Who, but then they kept very much to the core of Doctor Who, including some of the problems with Doctor Who, which was being a bit camp and a bit silly and pandering too much to little kids and speaking down to little kids rather than just scaring the hell out of them like the original show did. Now, Eccleston left after the first year because of behind-the-scenes issues, which they still haven't really gone into. But, the second season we had a second Doctor, and it was a bit much. They really needed to let Eccleston sort of settle in and have a couple of years like they'd planned. Now, before I get into the rest of the review, feel free to share and like my videos, and maybe even go to my channel and look for some of them, because YouTube won't be putting them on your feed. So that said, Season 2 was pretty much the same as Season 1. They kept the same tone, they just changed the Doctor. And the changes with Eccleston were just very superficial. They just wanted the image of a new Doctor. But he very much acted, the stories very much went the same. The tone of the show was very much the same. He was a bit darker and not as much fun. This portrayal by David Tennant is very manic and very fun and very likeable. But the show, I said, that they didn't really change the format, and they really didn't, and they certainly didn't change it between seasons. They just changed the Doctor. The thing that worked most was Rose and her relationship with him and her struggles to relate to this new Doctor, and the regeneration sort of interesting, and they lead some overall sort of arc for the season. But I had no idea that Billie Piper left after the second year. I knew that Eccleston left early and they were supposed to be a partnership for years, and I thought when Tennant came in that Rose stayed for his run, and I didn't know she was gone in the first Tennant season. So when they start off that last episode of her saying, "This is the day I died," I'm like, yeah, right. And then even when they were ending it off and they couldn't be in the same universe or something, which didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why couldn't they just go back and get him? Why couldn't that, like, after the villains had been, sucked into the void or whatever, I didn't understand why they had to go their separate ways. I'm like, oh, because Billie wasn't coming back for the next season. And I thought she was. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then it ended. I'm like, oh, is she not in the next season? And then we get the Christmas special with that actress who had her own, the comedian had her own show. Catherine Tate. Oh my God, that was awful. I was just shocked. I'm like, oh God, she's not the new companion, is she? Oh my God, please no. Fortunately, it was just one incredibly cringy special. I don't understand how anyone thought that would help Doctor Who. So that's where we're out for the third season. But the second season very much was like the first season. The stories were about the same level. The production was great. The stories overall was good, but the tone was still too kiddie, too camp. And a lot of these episodes I can't imagine going back to and watching. They return to the same gassy aliens with the human suits with the zippers across the foreheads, and they made that character a little bit darker, but they still couldn't really save it from the overall cringy campness of just the farting aliens. And I'm just really surprised. Doctor Who needs to take itself more seriously. They need to get away from it just being treated like a kids show, because you can market to kids and appeal to kids without actually talking down to kids. And I think from the beginning, Russell T Davies and the people behind Moffat and that behind the new series were very much talking down to kids and kind of a little insulting to adults. And I'm really surprised the revival did as well as it did. I think it just shows that the fans were always there, and it was more the executives not wanting to do Doctor Who and putting it in bad time slots and not promoting it and all that. And that was more the decline of Doctor Who than the show itself, because when you look at it, there's not a lot of difference between the revival and the older shows. I was really expecting a huge difference. Production there is, but in tone and everything, it's really the same. And the people who don't like it and think it's cringy would have been the same people who always didn't like it and always won't, not like it. So I don't think they really changed the show and really achieved anything on that level, aside from the production, because no one can say the show is cheap or doesn't look good. But so getting rid of Billie Piper, huge mistake. Didn't know they'd done it. Not quite sure where we're going to go with the third season because we don't have her as a companion. This season was the same as the first season. I guess I can't say much more than that. I enjoyed the show, but there's just that level level of cringe that makes me sort of not want to review it. I'm not sure if I'm going to return to Doctor Who a lot. But we'll see how that goes in the next seasons, if that's something that's consistent or something they worked out. I'm really not sure which way it goes.